Yo, what's good, guys? It's your boy X here, man. Back at it with another video. And today we're coming out with what if Goku was born with God Key, man. I know this topic's been done before or with other YouTubers, but I think I have a interesting perspective on what I'm want to do for this series. So I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope y'all can give me like 15 likes on this video. Hopefully that's achievable. If not, man, just let me know if y'all want another part in the comments, and make sure y'all just like, subscribe, and comment down below before we get into this video. Alright, man, let's get into the video. So this what if will start by Gine and Bardock scanning Kakarot's power level, and they notice, why is his power level 0? Why doesn't he have no power level? But they like, okay, maybe he's just a weak Saiyan. Maybe he's just maybe just like the scout is tripping, or something like that. And eventually Bardock gets the news that or suspects that Frieza's about to blow up the planet. So he's like, okay, Gine, let's go send off Kakarot to outer space. But some higher forces were watching this Kakarot kid. The two forces that were watching this Kakarot kid was Shin and Kibito. They were interested since they sensed God Key in this young Saiyan boy. Especially Shin was, interested in, this child because, this child could potentially help him defeat Majin Buu and, bigger threats and help protect the universe. So, Shin and Kibito will go out there as Bardock and Gine would send Kakarot off to Earth. As Shin and Kibito would get around the area of where Kakarot is getting sent off to. They will intercept the spaceship and grab it. As Shin and Kibito would have an argument, Kibito would be like, why would we need this Saiyan child, man? He's a Saiyan. He might, how they are, they're rowdy. They might destroy stuff. But Shin's making our argument saying, well, we can raise him, man. Not all Saiyans are bad. You just have to, talk with him and, reason with him and make him, better. So, Shin and Kibito would, Shin will obviously win this argument, and Kibito would just, accept it, but say if he makes any bad moves, I deal with him myself. So, Shin and Kibito would teleport back to the sacred world of the Kais. And Shin is holding Kakarot, they're walking, and eventually Kakarot gets bumped on the head. So obviously he turns into happy-go-lucky Goku. He turns into. So we're gonna time skip it to like 2-3 years later. Kakarot's obviously growing up. He can start talking now. So Shin and Kibito obviously start talking with the young boy. And they're telling them, hey, how do you feel about, protecting the universe and, helping out people that can, helping out people that are doing bad things in this universe. Goku's like, yeah, man, I would be, I would want to do that. I want to become a Kai just like y'all. So, obviously with Shin hearing these words, he's like, okay, I might want to, start teaching this guy, some stuff. So we're gonna time skip a few years later. So we're gonna time skip to the age of when Goku starts the story in regular Dragon Ball. Goku obviously gets taught. He obviously gets taught the Kai obviously because he's around a lot of Kais. Shin and Kibito obviously start to train him like physically. Obviously he's not gonna be absurdly strong, but obviously he has God Key, so. Yeah, but he's not gonna be absurdly strong. Right now, we're gonna nerf him so he doesn't just one-shot everything, in Dragon Ball Z right now. So, obviously his power level right now with the training with Shin and Kibito, light training at that, is not like intense training. I would say his power level with Shin and Kibito, but we're not making them too OP, is gonna be a power level of 300. Now you might be thinking, oh, he can one-shot everything in Dragon Ball. Yes, he can, but we don't want to make him absurdly strong to the point where he's like he just doesn't get touched until like super. Maybe like until like later on we gonna obviously make him OP, but right now he's chilling. So obviously They was like, okay, Kakarot, I want you to start exploring the world and exploring the universe. We can't keep you always in the sacred world of the Kais. You need to live a little bit. So they obviously tell him to go to the birth planet that he was gonna go to, which is Earth. So Goku lands on Earth, and he lands in Mount Paozu, and he meets Grandpa Gohan. But this is like a little interaction. He stays with him for a few months after they both get to know each other. He brings back food and does that stuff. Obviously, another thing we have to address is, will Goku be able to go into his great ape? In my opinion, no. Shin Kibito cut off his tail, that first time after he, transformed into a great ape. So, in this timeline, Grandpa Gohan's not dead, man. He's actually alive since, Goku has no tail. So, yeah. So, obviously, like in regular Dragon Ball, Bulma would, show up and, ask for the Dragon Ball. Obviously, Grandpa Gohan would encourage, Goku to be like, hey, you should go with it. Since, Grandpa Gohan would encourage him, like, yeah, go with the young girl, you can't be around an old man all the time, making it like a joking comment. So, as Goku would go with Bulma, he'll still meet the same people and do the same things. And actually, in this timeline, he would actually beat Yamcha so like badly. He would run through the Red Ruben army, and he would meet up with eventually when he meets up with Master Roshi would sense his ki and be like, dang, I can't sense this boy's ki, but just the aura he is emanating off himself, I know he's stronger than me. So that would obviously make Master Roshi be like, this boy is really interesting. And so most of everything in regular Dragon Ball for this arc would go like get washed pretty fast, because Goku's just absurdly strong at the time. So Goku, obviously Bulma gets the same wish he does with usual asking, wishing for a boyfriend. And obviously, your boy Yamcha shows up, man, So, yeah, that's how it goes for the first arc of, Dragon Ball. But, for the first, the first tournament, obviously, your boy Goku winning that shit, man. He's winning it because he's so busted, man. Like, you can't really do nothing. Krillin's just getting bullied around, but he's obviously getting way stronger. And actually, in this timeline, since Krillin has a stronger sparring partner, I actually say his power level will be around 125 actually. And I say Goku's power level at around this time, if we're doing regular, he when he left off to go to Earth, he was at a power level of 500. Now his power level would be about 550, only because he's he's training with a weaker person. And he's not training with like Shin and Kibito, but he wasn't really training. He would do just the gravity of the the planet and the weights they were giving him at the time. So yeah. So we're really gonna skip all the way until the Piccolo arc, the King Piccolo arc. So obviously they have that the same tournament as they do as usual. Tambourine kills Krillin, which makes Goku get mad like usual. But the things that are gonna change in this timeline is that when he goes ahead and fights King Piccolo, he obviously he washes he beats him like badly. He beats him way quicker, and he has a less of a hard time dealing with King Piccolo. Obviously the same thing happens as in canon. He spits out the egg, and Piccolo, our goat, is back. But yeah, so obviously we're going to time skip to when Piccolo gets born, and it's that next tournament. In this timeline, I would say personally, Goku's around the power level of about 650 during that time skip. And the Piccolo fight with Goku would obviously be way, way, way easier, since Goku is just he's just absurdly strong at the time. So he's beating up him badly in this timeline. So yeah, he's just getting beat up badly. Like he doesn't do the same thing he did last time. Obviously, this would make Piccolo very mad, and he'll wish vengeance on him for him being so weak. But obviously, this will give Piccolo way more motivation to get stronger, since in the being feeling the power difference, since he can't sense it. But obviously the same thing with Chi-Chi would go the same, and they'll want to get married and stuff. But I would say in this timeline, right, obviously, since Shannon and Kibito are watching from afar, they will want they will want Goku to still get trained. So during this 5 year, and from my story, I want him to actually get trained by Shin and Kibito. Not all the time. Obviously, he's gonna have a kid, but he's obviously gonna get trained by Shin and Kibito more. So, and when he gets to goes to face Raditz, he's gonna be in a power level of, not going of 5,000. Now you might be thinking, oh, why not like 10,000 or 100,000? We're building them up slowly, man. We can't make them too busted. So he went from a power level of 650 when he fought Piccolo to now power level of 5,000. It's not an insane increase, especially with him having God Key, man. Man, that's him training like off and on. He barely trained during the 5 years. Like he barely trained. So that's actually not a crazy thing to say with him having God Key at the time. So yeah. But yeah, when Raditz shows up to fight, when Raditz shows up to fight Piccolo, I mean to meet up with Piccolo, obviously him having the highest power, since Goku suppressing his power like a lot. So I'll actually say in this timeline, since Piccolo dealt with a tougher opponent and really felt the power difference, I would say his power level would be around 600. Some not too insane, but I would say like he really had the motivation to want to get stronger, since he felt that power difference between him and Goku. But obviously sensing the second strongest power, knowing that this guy's not Kakarot, he would go to Kame house and want to talk to Goku. And this when he tries to go and kidnap Gohan, man, it does not go the same way it does in canon. He'll be like, Goku will be like, who are you? I'm like, I'm your brother Raditz. Be like, Raditz, I never heard of you, but sensing by that tail, you must have to be my brother. Like, yeah, well, you're coming with me to go help defeat Frieza. Like, Frieza? Oh, I've heard that name before. He's a tyrant, right? Like, how do you know Frieza? But like, I have my ways. I know a couple people, but I'm not ready to fight Frieza yet. I'm not strong enough. Well, you're gonna fight with me or without me? Like, well, I'm not fighting you. And then Raditz tries to go and grab his son, and Goku intercepts the way, spiking his power up to a power level of 2,000 and punching Raditz, sending him flying through the ocean. And as Raditz gets up, like, damn, I still can't sense his power, but I know that punch hurt. I know he's at least on my level. So as they begin to fight, it just becomes very apparent that Goku's very strong, but he just starts getting whooped and he's like, dang, I might have to use the Powerball. But yeah, matter of fact, in this timeline, we're gonna give Goku a challenge. He's gonna use the Powerball. So right as he was like, nah, I'm not getting beat up by a kid that has a power level of 0. So he pops his Powerball, and he goes grade 8. So Goku's gonna have an extremely tough time at this. He's getting pummeled by Raditz, since he has a power level of 10,000. I mean, of 15,000? it was about 1,000, either 10,000 or 15,000, one or two, right? So and Goku has a power level of 5,000, so he's like about a third or half his strength. So he, as he's is fighting them, Piccolo comes from about, Piccolo, is obviously watching from the background. And he's like, dang, I know I can't beat that. He's sensing the massive power level. He's like, dang, I know I can't beat Raditz, but obviously I'm not gonna let Goku die before I kill him. So he's thinking, okay, how can I stop this? Stop this guy. So as he sees Goku start to fight with Raditz, he sees that Goku's steadily, he keeps on trying to target the tail, but Raditz is not allowing to him. So as Raditz, Piccolo's in the background, he's thinking, okay, I think the tail might be the weak point since Goku keeps on targeting it. So as that's happening, Piccolo is charging up a special beam cannon, aiming at the tail. So as Raditz starts to beat down on Goku, and Goku thinks, dang, this might be the end of the road for me, Piccolo shoots the special beam cannon, and it goes like through his tail, and then obviously in this time we're gonna say he gets hit by he's gonna get hit by the thing. Even though he has God Ki, he's gonna get hit by it and die. No, hold on, no. He's gonna get hit by it and not die. Let me chill out, because he has a power level of 5,000. Let me stop bugging. So obviously, Raditz goes back down. He shrinks back down, and obviously now Goku has the advantage, and he tries to be like, Raditz, are you gonna leave this planet, or are you gonna keep on trying to terrorize us? And as this, he keeps on talking. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm not leaving. There's two stronger Saiyans higher than me. And he's like, well, you better go off and go on your ship and tell him to stop going. But Piccolo's in the background, and he's like, okay, this, his guy is weak, and we can't have this guy around. So Piccolo goes ahead and shoots a ki blast from afar and kills Raditz. And Goku obviously gets the information that two Saiyans are really going to become even stronger than him. Goku, hearing this, will obviously be nervous, and he will obviously take his son. He will obviously take his son and tell all the other Earthlings to get prepared for two Saiyans that are going to be stronger than even Raditz, and start to train. So Piccolo obviously trains by himself because he doesn't have the same connection with Gohan in this time. So Goku goes to the Supreme Kai's world and starts to do a tense amount of training, hearing that two Saiyans stronger than even him were coming, and he almost died. They will start to intensify his training, thinking, okay, if he almost died, we need to actually start taking this boy, this Saiyan, seriously, since he has God Ki. We can't let the person we've been training and raising die this way. So as they begin to start training him more, his power level from this 1 year of training with his son too, because his son obviously is a regular mortal, but with the training with his son, his power level goes from a power level of 5,000. It's gonna be insane, y'all. I think to a power level of about 10 million. Now you might be thinking that's crazy, but you gotta remember, this is the same Shinigami that could easily one shot Frieza like he's nothing. So what makes you think that Goku wouldn't get at least to 5 million? That's really a low ball, because we could really get him to Frieza level, because he has God Ki, right? But I mean, he obviously has no transformations, but still. And I say his Gohan would be at a power level of about 1 million, since he obviously has a stronger person with him, Shinigami and his father. That's not a crazy pull to put him at, from him being at a very low power level. That's an insane thing. Obviously, since Piccolo would be a little bit weaker, he'd obviously be weaker than his canon self, since he doesn't have actually be stronger than his canon self, since he's not training a weaker person. And as for the Earthlings, they'll all be at the same power level, since Actually, no, they'd actually be a little bit stronger since Krillin was training with a stronger person earlier in Dragon Ball. So actually, Krillin will actually be a lot stronger, a little bit stronger in this timeline, and so would the Earthlings since they have a stronger Krillin. So obviously in this, yeah, but that's for all the power levels and the stuff. But hey, if y'all want the next part of this series, man, just uh, just hit me up and yeah, just type in the comments, hit me up, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me in the comments if y'all want the next part. And hey, I love y'all, man. Have a good, blessed day, man. Peace.